Hello and welcome to another edition of the One Team We Agree On. I'm Jillian.
And I'm Kyle. How are you doing today?
I'm a little more well rested because we had a snow day today and we have delay tomorrow. So the extra sleep's been nice.
Well, that's good.
Considering we've had a lot of news happen too. So
Yes, there has been a lot of news today. Of course, this is my push week for promoting, getting, evals, like I said last episode. So I've been pretty busy, but no, it's good you got a snow day. And yeah, no, I will say this. I don't know if we're going to catch up on all the news that's gone since we recorded our episode with Ryan Richter, which is out there. If you haven't checked it out yet, please do.
definitely.
Gotten a lot of great feedback from it. So, but on today's episode, we do have some breaking news
Yeah, we do.
that we will get into it, and that is that Jakob Glesnes and Jamir Johnson are on their way to LA Galaxy. So we'll chat about that. Um, Going to talk a little bit about Concacaf Champions Cup. That draw was last Tuesday, so want to dive into that. Um, we really haven't touched on the end of season press conference, so kind of dive into that a little bit. Kind of share some things from our Ryan Richter episode and share some thoughts pertaining to things that have been going on recently that he kind of mentioned. And I thought we'd just wrap up, have a little fun, and talk a little bit about maybe some of our favorite moments from the 2026 season. Not necessarily
2025.
2025. My gosh, I'm already in 2026 mode.
Don't rush it. We're not there yet.
Not there yet. But anyway, before we get started, what we're wearing.
I am wearing the primary kit that they wore from 2020 to 2021. The three stripes Adidas kit here.
With the cool
With
little,
the embossed snake on it. It is
yeah,
like the authentic one that has the snake word. I thought that was a really cool design. So
it was,
it was a good eBay find
and
recently.
and also, some very memorable moments out
Mhm.
in that jersey.
Yes, yeah,
Um,
indeed.
but yeah, I of course have gotten home from coaching because somebody was coaching tonight.
Yeah, I was not because I was like maybe 15 minutes from home and then it was starting to really snow and it was going to be a long trip.
Yeah,
You were
and
already there,
I
so
was already there, and yeah, that was interesting. I saw like five accents on the way home, and I like skidded on 83 like three times and once on 30. So, yeah, be safe out there for traveling during this holiday season, that's for sure. But where can people find us at?
you can find us wherever you get your podcasts, as well as on our YouTube channel. And we have our website, theoneteamweagreeon.com. Find us on our socials. We're at TOTWAG on Twitter and on Blue Sky. And we're at the One Team We Agree on Facebook and Instagram. You can find me at silly double underscore Jilly on Instagram and Twitter. I'm at Jillian Almany on Blue Sky. And Kyle can be found at Coach Almany on all those platforms, basically.
So yeah, all right. So I guess the big news today
Want to cut to the
was,
chase?
yeah, Philadelphia Union acquired up to potential $2,200,000 in general allocation money from LA Galaxy. The club announced for Jakob Glesnes and Jamir Johnson. So yeah, this evening, Philadelphia Union announced that they acquired $101 million in GAM for Jacob Glesnes and homegrown priority for
Jamir Johnson.
yep, to LA Galaxy. Club will receive 500,000 26 and 600,000 in 27. Union may also receive a additional 1.1 million in GAM if certain metrics by Glesnes or Johnson, and will receive a future sell on clause if there is a trade.
Yeah, for Johnson. So,
Y-
that's big
Yes,
because
yes, thank you.
yeah, I think because honestly, I don't think that many of us expected Jamir to probably sign with the Union, but I kind of always saw him probably going to Europe and who knows how long he'll be with LA or something, but I could see maybe Europe in his future. I think the kid's really talented. I think that he put that on display at the U17 World Cup for one thing. We didn't see him as much with Union 2 this year, but I could certainly see a situation where hey, you get the Union get some sell on for him possibly. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
I know you when I got home, you were working on an article that'll be out later.
Yeah, it's out.
Detailing a little bit more. So yeah, if you hear that, Jillian's already has something out. Um, a couple things about this. First off, yeah, this was one where when we saw the report from Bogert and we saw Jose and kind of what his thoughts were kind of coming out, it kind of caught us off guard. I was talking to somebody that said, hey, this caught us completely off guard. Didn't see this coming. And my first initial reaction was, I kind of got it. Um,
Yeah.
I kind of, when I saw 1.1 mil, I was like, okay. Because again, as you, myself, and maybe not as much as like Jose, Todd, and a few others have said before multiple times, this is a business. Look, Jacob Glesnes had a phenomenal year, in my opinion, should have been Defender of the Year.
Yes,
Um,
agreed.
however, he's 31.
Yeah.
Um, his leadership invaluable. Wearing the captain's armband the last couple years, ever since Ale kind of stepped back, was wearing the captain's armband unless if Blake wasn't in net.
Mhm.
Um, had some memorable moments. Three-time MLS All-Star, two-time MLS Best 11, 2022 Defender of the Year. He was a leader both on and off the field. Bradley said that in his press conference.
Yes.
This is a move that you look at through the whole frame from when he came back. I believe that was in 2020 when he joined,
He joined in 2020, came from Norway.
and till now, he was at he was part of the at this point in Union history, a benchmark in this club's franchise's
Mhm.
history. And for that, you tip your cap and yeah, you say sorry. Um, you know, we're moving on, but thank you because this is a great move for both sides. I
Yeah.
feel like people are say, well, look, 2026, and we've asked that, what's the moves moving forward? The helping the development of Macania, um, anchoring that line in certain games. But again, 2 years ago had that injury, was never the same. Bounced back this year.
Hmm.
And somebody said this to me. The Union, he's at the highest he's ever going to be at 31 in terms of value.
Right.
If you're going to do it now. And it's right. And I
Mhm.
was like, you're 100% correct on that because sure, are you going to find anybody out there like that is going to replace that leadership in center back? I don't know. That's a good question. Maybe that's a question to be answered. But there is leadership still on this team.
Oh, 100%. Um, and yeah, if you would have asked, I think anyone if they would have taken this deal in 2024, 100%, because I know Jacob, well, he really was coming back from surgery and everything. So for him to have this incredible year was great to see. And this is probably the most you're gonna get of value for him. And for Jacob, no, we wish him all the best. I think that well, the thing with the center backs, he could definitely have definitely some good a few more years in him, some good years.
Uh,
But here's the Union. They're gonna get younger at center back most likely, and now Macania has really established himself and learned a great deal, I'm sure, from Jacob. I know that, and he's said as much before. He told when I talked to Macania, he even shared from learning from him, from Jacob. So it's I think it's win-win, honestly. It's a win for Jacob, it's a win for the Union, and it'll be interesting to see where they go with that center back position.
yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit later in this episode, but Um, I guess I'll end this here with my thought for now with Jamir is got to talk to him a few times. We saw his talent, throughout his Union 2 career at least. He, appeared in 21 games, started two, had two goals, one assist. Um,
Both those were in the 2025 season,
yeah,
the
I
goals and
mean,
assists.
we've seen his.
He had
his
the
growth,
decisive PK in one of the
we've
games
seen
too.
his growth at the international level, and it's remarkable.
Yeah.
And the other side of the coin is possibly he did not fit what the Union were trying to do moving forward. He had been on trial a few times in Europe.
Yep. He was with
Uh,
PSV over the summer, played in a tournament with them.
yeah, I mean, he's always had these looks from Europe.
Yeah.
He's never signed, so you go to LA that has a better opportunity. Why not? I mean, if that sweetens the pot a little bit on this deal, of course, we don't know anything, but if it does, why not do right by both of them? And we'll talk about that in a little bit later. So, those are my thoughts on that. Anything else to add?
Just want to say, thank you to Jacob for all his contributions to the club. I think that he gave everyone some memorable
Oh, yeah.
moments. And I'm still salty that I was not at the playoff game in 2021 that you and your friend Todd, not Todd Lewis, but our friend Todd Albert, you guys were at that
Yep.
game and I was watching from pool deck because I was coaching. And yeah, so I had to watch on my phone from the pool deck and go nuts. Um, seeing that banger. But, in any way, incredible moments between that and the goal at Atlanta as well that year. And he's had some others that have been good as well. So some great moments, made some great saves and some great plays in the past. So and he's a quality human being too.
That's the most important thing.
Always pleasant.
Hmm.
And and Jamir's a great kid too. So best of luck to them, and I hope they do really well. Just Jacob, no bangers against the Union would be good.
So yeah, but let's move on now, because we're gonna get back to center back position a little bit. I'm gonna pull this up. I want to talk a little bit about the 2026 Concacaf Champions Cup. So, Union on Thursday, Tuesday learned their path. They drew, I think it was slot bracket A8.
Hmm.
Um, I wrote about it over the weekend, but they drew Defense Force FC out of Trinidad and Tobago in round one.
Hmm.
Union will travel to Trinidad and Tobago for the first leg before returning to Subaru Park for the second. They will play the first leg on Wednesday, February 18th, down
For
down in Port of
yeah,
Spain,
except it'll be fun. Yeah.
at 6 p.m. Eastern time, so an early match.
Yep.
And then the Union will host them on Thursday, February 26th. Some rare Thursday football
Who's
in Chester.
excited to be cold and end of February
Yeah,
outside in Chester?
it's 7 p.m.
Yeah, it'll be nice for them down in Trinidad and Tobago, but
Yeah, just a little bit of background Defense Force. So,
Mhm.
this side earned her 27th and final berth in their 20 earned the 27th and final berth in the CONCACAF Champions Cup after finishing third. Um, they currently rank 11th in the Caribbean Cup standings according to CONCACAF.
Mhm.
And they rank 93rd overall in CONCACAF club rankings. Um, fun fact, when I was doing a little research with the rankings and looking over it, about 2 weeks prior, they were well in the hundreds until they pushed up
Mm.
and beat, I think it was Caribou, or
Who-
Fr-
who-
Caribou, not Carabobo, where,
Okay.
no, it's Caribou's. I believe they were from, Dominican Republic.
Okay.
Um, somebody listening, if that's incorrect, let me know.
I mean, chances are you're saying something incorrect, Kyle. No offense.
I was looking
I
over
know.
that,
I'm just
but
messing with you.
I know. But anyway, and so they moved on to be a very good team, and so it's a good story. And now they get to play the Union.
Let's talk about the fact that that's kind of a cool name, Defense Force.
Yes,
That's kind of a cool name.
it is. And hey, we'll see what
Yeah.
this side has.
But yeah.
Really cool, and so that'll be fun. But I think that's overshadowed by the bracket draw that the Union are in, and I have that up here on
Mm.
my screen. So if you look at the Union side of the bracket, should they advance, they get to play the
Mhm.
number four ranked the winner of the number four ranked um, CONCACAF Club America, which Union fans are too familiar with.
Yep.
sans 2021 Concacaf tournament, and Olympia. Two very, very good teams. So that's gonna be a good opening round match to watch. Um, who knows? I mean, obviously, Club America is should move on, but has been good and is always in this tournament. And then at the top of that, you have Nashville riding their three-game unbeaten streak against the Union, playing Ottawa. And then the winner of that will take on Messi and Inter Miami,
Yep.
the MLS Cup champs,
Mm.
in the round of 16. So, should the Union advance and beat Club America or Olympia, they're probably going to have to face Nashville or Inter Miami in the quarterfinals.
So, not the easiest path.
No, it's not. Having said that, like I wrote, I mean, great teams are going to find a way to challenge. I mean, that's the big thing. But I mean, hey, look, the Union are back in the Concacaf Champions Cup again. For me, I think what I'm most excited about is to see those early games, to see the atmosphere. I mean, we've seen it not only just covering it, but having been there in the stands, but also the pregame festivities, seeing the different cultures. These are exciting, exciting games, and that's always a fun thing, the memories of these games. Um, so yeah, I'll be excited to see how many people travel from Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, I honestly love those matchups.
Yeah, they're fun,
I
just
love that
like
you're
Lee
getting
said.
different fans
Yes,
there.
yeah.
Yeah.
Just like seeing the scene again, potentially with a Club America.
Yeah. We were not at that, but we've heard so much about it.
But I mean,
Yes. I
I,
mean,
this is a difficult path. I mean, honestly, you would want LA Galaxy's path. I mean, they gotta play. They have an opening round match, then they'll play Mount Pleasant from Jamaica, who won the CONCACAF Caribbean Cup. So, and then you're probably gonna play Pumas, San Diego, or Toluca in the quarterfinals. I mean, you look at this Union side of the bracket, it's very MLS heavy. I mean, you have Tigres is obviously there. You got FC Cincinnati, Vancouver's there. Seattle is around the 16 opponent for the winner of Vancouver and um, Cartagenas. So you're gonna see what transpires with that. It's going to be really interesting. What are your thoughts on the Union's bracket?
well, they definitely have a tough bracket, but they can also really rise to the occasion. And they, I mean, the possibility of a rematch of sorts with the Club America, with a Nashville or Miami, hey.
Anything's possible in these things.
Yeah, and plus with the way things are going, who knows what the team's going to be looking like at this point.
Who knows what this team's going to be looking like? Who knows what Nashville's looking
Yeah,
like? I mean, Walker Zimmerman's on the move apparently.
yeah.
And they've made a couple other, losses, additions. What are all these Cubs going to do? So, I mean, we can sit here and pontificate right at this moment in
Hmm.
December about what this looks like. But again, we won't really know till February.
No.
Injuries, all that stuff. So it's exciting. There's some good matches definitely in this tournament. So regardless of whether the Union are in or out, we're definitely going to be paying attention
Yes.
and covering it. So let's get back to now some Union news. So
Yeah.
we talked at the top of the show about a roster addition.
Yes.
Oh, and before we do that, I just want to know, I want to ask everybody in the comments, what are you most excited about for the Union being back in the CONCACAF Champions Cup? So please leave a comment. Love to hear that from you guys.
Yeah. So a big bit of news was that the Union signed Ghanaian forward Ezekiel Alado. So this was a club record signing.
Yeah, and Jon Scheer, if you haven't listened to um, him and Bradley in their end of season press conference, He kind of basically said it's about $4.5 million. Um, Transfer fee, which is a club record.
Hmm.
To Swedish side, do not make me pronounce that. Um, for transfer fee for Ezekiel Aldo. I mean, it's guaranteed through 2028 with a club option in 29-30. Scored 8 goals and registered 1 assist in 32 appearances.
Yep.
From what we've heard from friends, Union are very high on him.
Yeah. Well, they must be for that deal to go through.
And just with the way in the press conference, John and them were saying, yeah, they're
Yeah.
very, very thin.
Yeah.
I've watched some video. It's highlights, and like I told somebody, I think it was Todd. I think when we were driving down to Maryland one time, it's like I was looking at all these highlights, and
It's
oh,
that. It's
it's
highlights.
highlights. I want to see like 90 minutes of a game where he struggles. Where is he struggling at? How's he adjust? Those kind of things.
Right.
But at the same time, you look at his age, um, and you think about that. He's still growing. He's still developing as a player.
Yeah.
It's a good move. This is a good move because I feel like, sure, he has that physicality. You can see he's physical, he's fast, all those things.
Hmm.
There's one video where he scores a banger of a goal too, and I'm like,
Hmm.
whoa, okay. So he can do some bangers here and there.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And I'm sure the Union is hoping to see him develop and then potentially sell him overseas. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, people have been like, the Union need to spend. The Union need to spend. Okay.
Well, let's
They signed
spend.
Damiani last year. That was the club record signing at the time.
And even before that, they invested in Danley, who was very high priced. I think at the time he was like second or third.
And I think we can all agree that that was a great signing.
Yes, and
And Bruno Damiani, I
was
think
very,
was a great signing.
yeah. I mean, they're starting to invest, and again, we'll get into that
It's not
later.
like a Miami level signing, but these are guys that can really, I think, fit with what the Union are trying to do.
Here's the thing, and I will say this now. I'll say this that I'm very, and I've told other people this. 2022, they ran it back in 23
Yep.
and 24,
Yep.
with little additions here and
And we
there.
know how that went.
I mean, they made some additions, subtractions, but nothing major.
Yeah.
Now they're making major additions and subtractions. And they've done that the last two off seasons now, it looks like. We'll see how
Mhm.
this one turns out. But they're learning from maybe some of their mistakes.
Yeah.
Or maybe at least they're saying, hey, look, here's our identity. Here's who we are. We want to make sure we're set up for success. And so, hey,
Yeah.
they're looking. What does this mean for Ua? I mean, Bradley said they'd like him back. The club said they're in negotiations. Does he come back? Does he not? I still lean to the side probably not, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Um, but it does also open up some potential opportunities if Ua doesn't come back for somebody like an Eddie, like a Sal. Somebody was asking me the other day with that news of potentially, I guess it was Tom Bogert broke that. I guess it was DC United's offering $4 million for Ty Baribo. Okay. Now that definitely opens some pathways for, some of these younger
They
guys.
don't have their one guy, Benteke, anymore.
So,
But
but we'll
it,
we'll cover that
yeah.
when that news, if and when that news comes.
Yeah.
I would like to um, talk about the here and now more. So let's look at. I do want to share a clip about Eddie and Sal. That's kind of where I wanted to go with this.
Yeah. So I asked Bradley Carnell at the year-end presser about his thoughts on Eddie and
You've
Sal.
seen throughout the season, whether it was during the summer with Eddie and with Sal, they've been sprinkled in some minutes here and there. Eddie and Sal both got their opportunities and played big roles in some of the games this year already. So, the option, or we'll definitely be with them in preseason and excited to see their development. At the end of year meetings I had with them both, we had very good discussions about pushing the standards, setting the level, and showing a level of consistency over time with not just MLS Next Pro, but with our group. Obviously, we've had some departures, or we've announced some departures, and now there's opportunity to be had. So But I've always spoken about performance, and I've always spoken about that opportunities will be had and will be given regardless of age. I'm an advocate of youth. I think everybody knows that. I like to develop, and it fits our game model, and that's who we are as a club. Having said that, nothing for nothing. Players have to want to, and players have to empty the tank every single day. They're very early in their development, but I've seen great strides, not just from the footballing, technical, tactical aspect. I've also seen great strides in the personality, in what it takes to be a pro, and I've seen a level of drive and determination, through the back end of the season now, that they want this a little bit more. So, which is great. That gives me a good platform for them. It's up to my staff and myself to create this platform for them to continue their individual development. But I'm excited to go with them into preseason, starting on the 10th, 11th of January. So, yeah.
I mean, okay.
Really great thoughts, Bradley, there. And and it's also a good reminder that preseason is not far away.
No, it's not. And they were kind of sharing their I found it funny at the end, the last comment's like, here's when the preseason is. Oh, so you're not announcing it. Okay, so it's just all right, we got it. Okay, great. Yeah, I think they're definitely, you hear that they're going to go travel to preseason. Who else is? We don't know. It's going to be interesting to see what this striker room looks like next season. If Mikel doesn't come back, obviously the reported news, does that open room for obviously Eddie or Sal? I still wonder if one of them doesn't get loaned out.
Yeah.
Because as we'll talk about later with Ryan, the union again are going to try to keep putting these players in positions for them to grow and develop. So
yeah, and who knows what can happen with preseason?
exactly,
because Bradley is not afraid to give guys chances, and if he's impressed with them, he'll give them a chance. Frankie,
yeah,
McCanya, case in point with those guys.
exactly. Do they come back in better shape? Do they seize this opportunity? Does that mean we see more with Lasky, more with Cavan in the midfield? Who knows?
Yeah, I would expect probably Cavan to get some more time.
Oh, I would assume so as well.
I would hope so, honestly, with the season coming up.
Yeah. And then from that, do they go out maybe another new striker? Who knows?
Yeah, and then there's like Stas. And people that are saying Malik Jakupovic, let's pump the brakes a little bit.
I mean, I wouldn't mind. I wouldn't mind seeing if he continues to grow in the second team.
Yes.
And continues to grow. Starts to show that it has a really good season. Maybe during
the season. Yeah.
Maybe this time next year, or maybe even during the end of this year. Who knows?
He's really developing well. So
I think that's more of a 2027 project, and I'm talking about as we officially kick off the season in 2027 summer. I could see that being a kind of all right. Now Malik's gonna get some time, but yeah, I think it's overall very good situation there for both those players, and hey, they're getting some opportunities, so we'll see what comes of that. Next topic, I do want to share Jon Scheer's comments on the center back position. Obviously, when we put the show together, we had some inkling, but we had no. Like I said, this kind of came by surprise. We weren't even really going to talk about, but Jakob dropped that announcement earlier, and then the union followed suit. So, hey, I do want to share this. This is about Neil Pierre's growth and just his development, because the question came up, with the center back, with the increased games, how are the union going to address that, and where's Neil Pierre fit into this picture? So we'll share that clip now.
We're happy with now how Neil's progressed the last couple of years. We're like all of our players. I think we're always looking at the balance between where they fall within the Union 2 setup and MLS Next Pro, and then how that translates into MLS. We're really high on the potential of Neil Pierre, but we're also going to make sure that he's in the best possible environment to reach and maximize that potential. So, I think you'll see here soon. We're still looking at other center back options, but Neil for the future is one we still have a lot of belief in, and we're looking forward to seeing what best environment to continue to develop him in will be.
Which when he said other center back options, I'll be
Mhm.
honest with you, I was thinking of something else. Obviously, did not think it would be Jakob Glesnes.
Yeah.
Our good friend Jose Nunez did report that the club is looking at potentially bringing in, I think, and also I think it was from Cesar Merlo, who um, is very, very on point as well. They're looking at Grenier Martinez. Uh, you remember saying it, you were trying to say it the other day.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't speak Spanish,
Okay,
so
but anyway,
you know.
they're bringing in
Is it Gainer? Jainer?
Jenner. Anyway,
Sorry, we'll learn
everybody's
soon enough.
laughing right
Yeah, laugh
now.
at us now.
Okay,
Ich spreche Deutsch.
yeah.
Okay, not
A
Spanish.
2022-year-old, has played in Uruguay, made 34 appearances in over 2,341 minutes. Hey, we'll see if the Union get that done. Obviously, hey, there again, getting young at the center back position, like we talked about.
Yeah.
Um, and hey, we'll see. As for thoughts with Neil, look, we'll see what happens there. I know there's some reports floating
There's some
around.
rumors floating around
Yeah.
there.
We'll touch on that if and when those become official.
Yeah.
I think with what we know right now with Glesnes, as of right now, Pierre's still, on the Union. You got Macania.
Yeah. Rafael Uzcategui down at Union too.
I mean, what does that mean about Rafael?
Yeah.
We don't know. I would honestly say even if Martinez is brought in, you're
Mhm.
still gonna have to probably look at another center back, especially a veteran potentially. Maybe the Union want to get young. I mean, you have Harry around,
Yeah,
but
because you do have depth at right back, so you can afford to play
but
Nate at center
you're
back.
not gonna
But
just say, "Hey, Nate, you're now gonna be a center back this year." Now, I think that's more on a case by case basis.
yeah, like you have that flexibility, especially when you're having Champions Cup, Concacaf Champions Cup
Yeah,
games and all this different.
and then you have the leagues games and all that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, but I definitely now think this is going to be a topic of need for the union moving forward. So we'll see what they do.
Yeah.
As for the second team, maybe this opens up opportunities for Andrew Craig.
Could Andrew Craig pull a Frankie and
Well,
who
maybe
knows?
not this year,
And
but
not
he's
good.
going.
No, he Andrew Craig, who he's playing with the U18s. They were just at the MLS Next Fest, by the way, and they did very well actually there. And anyway, um, Andrew Craig, he's captain with the U18s, and he is signed to go to Michigan.
Yeah,
So that's why I said, could he pull a Frankie and end up not going? But
we don't know.
but maybe he plays with Union 2 at least till he leaves. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
I mean, I think this is again, we'll see what happens
you
here.
got Oscar Benitez that can play center back there too.
Yeah, so there's some options down there at the second team.
Yeah.
Not seeing any of those players are first team caliber at this time and date, but you never know. But yeah, we'll see what happens on all those fronts
Right.
there with the center back room.
Let's talk goalkeepers.
Yeah, let's talk goalkeepers because for those of you that remember in Houston, we asked Bradley about because Andrew had made the start, even though Andre had traveled and Andre was on the bench.
Right. So
And
they're
just
healthy. Yeah.
yeah, and it was a healthy, he was just on the bench and he talked about the management plan moving forward with Andre and Andrew. So I asked him, I said, did you think this year the plan worked? Obviously, Andre was dealing with injuries. But moving forward now with a couple extra games, especially balancing CONCACAF Champions Cup early on and leagues games, is there more opportunity to rotate, et cetera, et cetera? And here's what he had to say.
I think that's natural. And I think if you have a look at our cadence of how we've rotated this season, not just with the goalkeeper department, I think it's been a natural progression. And sometimes it was due to Andre's travel, maybe sometimes some physical aspects going on. But for Andrew to get 14 games, and the 6 clean sheets to go along with it to play a big part in this historical season in many ways. Kind of gives us a precursor to what it could look like. Yeah, but Andre, knows exactly what he needs to do. It's a big year coming up for him as well. He's immense in the locker room. His leadership, his quality on and off the field. But yeah, there's a big playoff game he's got in March as well, and with a quest for the World Cup. So there's a lot on the line for everybody. But I think we showed a lot of what we can do in this season with all the players we've used.
I mean, I was hoping for more. Not gonna lie, I was hoping for more comment, but I get where he's going with that. Yeah, they have used a lot.
Yeah, and I think that this past season, you can put Andrew Rick in there and feel confident that, hey, he can handle this too.
Which brings up the point, given Andre's history with injuries over the last couple years, do you start to give more of those opportunities to Andrew?
I think that having a management plan, kind of using the two of them, would be wise. I know some people are like, oh, let's just move on from Andre at this point. Andre's still really, really good and makes saves that Andrew Rick quite isn't there yet, but Andrew Rick makes some really, really good saves too. But Andre's leadership and his experience, I think, go a long, long way. That being said, I think using the two of them and having kind of a planned usage of them is smart, especially with the additional games and with Andre being away at times for national team. So I think having both of them is really good for next season. So,
I agree with that. I just go back to the best ability is availability, like they like to say in the NFL. But it is true. Again, as you get older, your body starts to break down. Um, I think you need to start really considering that management plan and accelerating it if that's the case.
mhm.
Because Andrew needs playing time.
Yeah,
We've said it, others have said it.
he's been better, honestly, when he's been up with the first team than I think when he's played with Union too at
Yeah,
times.
I mean, at this point, and we'll talk about it, I mean, Union
Yeah.
re-signed George Marks to a new
Yep.
contract. So they're bringing him back. I mean, that's really going to be Pierce, depending on how his recovery's going.
Yeah.
And that's going to be George Marks for the most part, just to get him some games. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine. If I woke up this morning and they said, "Hey, this is Andrew's team now," I'm fine with it. I
Right.
really am. I
I
do
have
have,
confidence in Andrew Rick. That
I
being
do
said,
too.
I'm not ready to say like,
And I get that. I get
not
that
that
with
they
all
don't
the
need Andre either.
games.
Yeah.
I just, I don't know. Uh, I'm getting to the point now, like, if Andre just can't stay healthy, it's like rip the Band-Aid off
Mm.
and move on, because you're gonna have to make a business decision sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say we all would love to have a healthy Andre, but
Healthy Andre is
it was
phenomenal.
great. You can't do that. But I think
Yeah.
I I just saw so much growth from Andrew this year that I
Mhm.
want to see what that next step in his game is.
Yeah, his confidence and his
Distribution.
distribution, and you see him directing back there better. He's learning from the best, honestly.
His penalty
He's
save.
great at PK. It's
I mean, sure,
yeah.
he makes some really
Yeah. I mean,
bonehead
there
decisions from
was
times.
NYCFC away. There was the Red Bull
There
team
is,
game.
but that's a young keeper, and
These things happen. Yeah.
as Bradley said to us when we asked him about that goal, he goes, "Those are the mistakes you learn."
Yep.
And sometimes his positioning's off. I get all those things, but those are young goalkeeper mistakes.
Point is not blocking Andrew Rick how like Matt Freeze. We don't want
Exactly.
another Matt Freeze situation.
But yeah,
Which good
hey,
for Matt Freeze, by the way, for what he's doing. It just would have been nice
great
not
news.
against the
But
Union.
hey,
But hey,
and then George Mark is back.
this is a good move, I think. George Marks, he's did a solid job when he played with Union too, at the end there.
Yeah, I mean he has a NCAA championship experience from his time at Clemson when they won. He And he's just very, I mean, he won MLS Next Pro Goalkeeper Save of the Year when he was with
Like,
Crown Legacy.
yeah, like 4 saves in a row.
Yeah. And he's made some very good plays for Union 2. You can see his leadership. And Bradley has said he is a mature young man that has good leadership. So,
Yeah.
hey,
Yeah.
it's another good person back there. He gets his role.
Yeah.
But I'm sure he's very happy to be playing professional soccer at the MLS level. And the more opportunities he gets to show that, maybe eventually he could parlay that into USL career as he gets older. Or maybe he just stays a journeyman backup and makes a good living.
Yeah.
Who knows?
I
Or
had a
maybe he
good,
goes into coaching.
yeah, no,
Like Joe Bendick.
right. No, I had a good post-game interview with him after one of the matches with Union 2. Excuse me.
So yeah, I mean,
My throat's a little
he's
dry.
signed through the 2026 season with two options.
Mhm.
First coming in June, first coming the 1st of January through June 27th, and
Yep.
second from the 2027 to 2028 season. So guess what? We've learned now that for some of these options, they are sprint season. What is it now? The sprint season or whatever?
It hasn't been officially named, but let's just say I was in a focus group that names were being thrown around.
Sprint season.
Sprint season was one of the options, and that was my number one
Sprint
choice.
season.
So
The 14 game season, which will be triple asterisks on any
come on,
shield.
you need to go win that, like get another asterisk,
They need to
shield.
win like the
They need to,
triple that. They need to, well, the double. They
mhm,
need to win the shield and the.
you need
Can
to
you
do it.
imagine that?
Yeah.
Like 2 out of your 3 shield supports are.
Yeah. But yeah, it was interesting to see how the
Oh,
contract works for this. And yeah, like I said, I think this is a good pickup, especially he can get some work with Union 2. I'm not sure how long Pierce Holbrook's going to be still recovering from his knee injury. So, yeah, that,
I'm really, really curious to hear more about how those contracts for that year are going to work.
yeah.
So looking forward to hearing that. Let's dive into a little bit talking about the Ryan Richter interview we had
Yeah.
last Monday with Ryan.
Yeah, if you haven't watched it or listened to it, you should definitely check it out. Great conversation with Ryan, and you get to hear a lot about his background.
Yeah. So let's get into it a little bit. Um First off, I asked John Bradley about what the growth they've seen from Ryan this year. And
Yeah.
here's up when
Yeah, I'll start with Bradley.
I think that's natural. And I think if you have a look at our
sorry. Here we go.
Yeah, look, I think it was a fantastic season for Union 2. Broke the points record for what we've had over the last few years. And I think we're a manufacturing plant for not only players, but staff as well. And Ryan has a lot of potential and has shown his leadership skills in his first year as a head coach at the professional level, and how he managed the players and how he managed the staff was, commendable. And there's also room for improvement as it relates to the integration and the game model. Bradley's been excellent and his staff at making sure that our academy coaches and Union 2 staff are really clear in terms of roles and responsibilities on the pitch. And we look forward to taking the next step here. But if you look at the alignment and the communication from the first team staff all the way through, it's something I think we're proud of and looking to build upon.
I think Ryan's had the most difficult job because it's always because of our age curve is so young. And there's always guys in our roster, then we send them down and it's on the weekend, it's a Friday, it's a Saturday, it's training. So he's always been quite kind of on call with his players, and credit to him to get the performance that he did with the limited time of training at times. I would say incredible job done.
Yeah, no, I mean, they both, as we kind of figured, they would sing his praise. I mean, it's a press conference.
Yeah.
But
Deservedly so, I think.
But I also think from what we've observed sometimes at training, just communications between both John, Ryan, both Bradley and Ryan. I do think I agree that 100% both of what they're saying is genuine as well.
Yeah.
The thing that really strikes me, and they talked about at the beginning of that press conference, was the cohesion and communication staff. And being a coach, top to bottom, and having an organization, running a club,
Yeah.
running a team organization,
Mhm.
when you have top to bottom communication, that's where successful organizations
Yeah.
build.
For sure.
So, just from what we've observed, I don't feel that's just lip service for the camera. I
No.
feel that this is very genuine.
Yeah.
And it's a credit to why you saw the first and second team have success this year.
Yeah. And I know we've talked to Ryan Richter about how that would work with having players bouncing between the two. There were times when Union 2 would have a match the day before the first team, and then that presented complications, or you it'd be the there's like different complications, but they always worked really well together. Bradley was, I think, almost always there at the Union 2 games watching, and Ryan would be at the first team games. They all, they're very just aware of everything, and they work really well together. And just credit to them for having that, just being on the same page so much, because they they're running the same system. It's seamless, like it was said in the press conference, just with the first team, second team, the academy, all of them, just it's top to bottom pretty aligned.
Yeah. So when we interviewed Ryan, we wanted to return the favor. But no, I actually really impressed by the answer from both John and Bradley.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask them kind of the same question.
Yeah, I'll start with Bradley. I mean, it came very clear when Bradley came in, like he has no agenda. It's his agenda is to improve the club, improve the team, see the team play in the style, and try to get the most out of people. And he's very open with his communication. And he has been the entire season. Anytime I call I know how it can get. Like you're preparing for a game, and it's like you have all this, and you get a call from the second team coach. Like I could imagine that's like, come on again. But I never felt this from him, and I appreciate that type of leadership of like, okay, this guy for me, I want to do the best job I can. It's to support him. I always feel like he has time for that. And that's great leadership where I never feel hesitant to call him if I have a question, if I just need clarity on something. But his communication has been amazing throughout the organization. And it's a big part of the culture that they created this year. And you can see it on the field. You can see the way that the guys are connected, the way that he's gotten so much out of that team. So that was really cool for me to see, and again the way that he's treated us in the second team project. It's clear to him that this is an important piece of the entire project. And for John, and John and I have been really close for probably the last 8 years. We started together at the Union around the same time and have worked together in a number of different roles. He was a scout for the academy when we worked in the academy, scout for the first team when we worked in the first team, and then as director for the academy and the Union 2 phase over the last year. But we're very close, and our relationship is one where if I need to challenge him on something, I never feel like I can't do that. He's open to that. We might argue back and forth, but we have one target in mind. Let's do the best. So no one needs to be right, but we need to do the best. That's how we approach this. And like I said, we have a lot of the same mentors, a lot of people that the principles that they instilled in us of what this project is supposed to be and how we're supposed to treat the people in it. We believe in a lot of the same things. So even if it's something that we disagree on, again, like I said, our target is let's do this the best way that we possibly can, and we're both all in for it.
And again, just hearing these comments from all three of them, you hear about the communication from Bradley. That's been evident from us from when we interviewed players and other staff throughout the season. And then to hear those words from John and Ryan about their relationship working together, again, successful organizations are while on the same page. Iron sharpens iron. So you're not going to agree on everything. Not everything's going to be a yes, man. You really don't want that. You want people challenging you left and right to make that. But they're on the same mission of what's best for the Philadelphia Union at this time.
Yeah. So I think that both of those teams having success in 2025.
Anything to add on that?
I think, just it was a great interview with Ryan. So if you guys haven't heard the whole thing, definitely go check it out. But
I do, before we wrap that
yeah.
up, I do want to play one more clip. We did ask him, what is the story of the season? And I wanted to share this.
Yes.
This is a long clip. I will say this is like a 3-4 minute clip.
But it's worth it.
Because it's going to talk about a lot of what we're seeing now with like, why are we doing this move? And why are we doing this move? Ryan kind of talks a little bit about why some of these moves, like, and we'll talk about David Vasquez in a second after this, were made, and kind of just when you think about the season, why were certain things happening, he kind of talks about this. So here is Ryan talking about the story of the season for the second team anyway. Here we go. Two.
Really proud of the culture that we created. I'm proud of the culture of the staff that we had, and we didn't have so many, I would say, tough moments throughout the season, but we had one or two, and the way that we responded in those moments. And the real story of the season is it's about the development of the players. And if you go about halfway through the season, I think you saw a change in 5 or 6 players from the first team for a number of different reasons. There are different points in the development. David Vasquez went to San Diego. Amazing opportunity for him and a successful move for the Union organization. So while that hurt a lot, the style of play, because you're losing, to me, probably the best player in the league at that time. You're losing him on the field. This is a win for David and a win for the Union organization. CJ moving on loan to Lexington, and Isaiah moving on loan to Detroit. The two of these players, again, huge pieces of why the team is winning on the field because their level is so good. But for them, and I agreed at the time that they could go for something, another challenge, and we try to push them to get better. So for their own development, these two players moving on was really important. Henry Bernstein, Gavin Wetzel, Zach Mastrodimos going to college. Again, 3 players that played important roles in our team. Andrew Rick playing mostly with the first team, so we lose him for a lot of games. Not lose him, but he gets the opportunity that we're trying to push all these guys to. So you take that. That's 7 players that were pretty key contributors to a lot of success for the first half of the season when we were really on fire. So basically, you come in with a new team. It means Jordan Griffin is playing 90 minutes almost every game. Pierce and George get opportunities as goalkeeper. Gio becomes a right back after playing limited minutes, I would say, for a lot of the season. Oscar becomes a full-time starter by the end of the year. Kellen LeBlanc becomes a reliable 90-minute guy. And then you see the development of Stas as a striker in the last 10 games of the season. So after that period, with those 7 players in, we lose 3 out of 4 games, with the other one being a loss in penalties. So 4 games in a row, that's a tough stretch. 1 point in 4 games. We have to reset what the culture is, what our habits are, and we go and we win the next 7 games in the regular season, and then 2 games win the next 7 games and then lose against Red Bull in the conference final. So the story of the season to me is that we brought a group of players along that changed because they needed something different, which I'm totally cool with. That's the job. Push them to go to a higher level if they needed more challenge. Or the guys we lost for college, I wish we didn't, but we're not signing you right now. We're not going to hold you back from this opportunity and change your life in a negative way. Go try this. Totally cool. We lose these players. We have a small hiccup, a 4-game where the culture does not feel right, not just because we're losing, because it's a lot of change, and we get it back on track with the last 7 games of the season. And this to me was a really positive piece. And that's credit to the players that were involved, credit to the staff who worked incredibly hard to get everyone on the same page, and credit to the culture of what our club is. And it's about development, and we were able to do that in a really quick way. So I hope that's the story of the season that everyone's most proud of. I know for me that it is. Do you want to change 7 guys in the middle of the year? I hope not every season, but but no, that was really cool this year to be able to get everyone back on track and back in the same page. Really proud of.
Well, first and foremost, he's right. I mean, we saw it. Remember, after that one game, asking Mike Sheridan, did all these moves really affect him? He's like, well, yeah, you lose all these players. We saw it. We saw the bounce back and again, I mean, that's what we observed was what Ryan told us. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, first of all, I thought it was a really great look at the season, and I thought he put a lot in perspective there. And
For sure.
it really shows you how impressive the season was for them, considering all the changes. So,
And he didn't even mention Kevin. Kevin was bouncing back and forth
yeah,
too.
yeah.
And so that is something, and we've said, and I know others said it, not to knock on Marlon Blanca's, and congratulations to Marlon, now the head coach of Brooklyn FC in the
Yeah.
USL Championship.
Yeah, congrats, Marlon.
Tremendous opportunity to see. Hopefully, we get up to see a match. This is no knock on him, but us and others have said this team, compared to last year's team, was probably a little less talented. And because you had a Frankie Westfield, you had a lot more hungry, I wouldn't say hungrier players, more hungry players, but you had full-time Andrew Rick. There was more cohesion. There wasn't
You
as
had
much
Andrew Rick full time. You had Kevin pretty much full
all
time with
time. You
them.
had
You
a lot
had
of in and out.
Vasquez. You had only there the whole time, you know.
You had all these players playing together at all time.
Right.
Whereas this year it was like in, out, and plug and play, and they were still broke the points record. They were still one of the best teams. So that is a
Yeah.
credit to not only the staff but to the players as well for learning. And there's a lot of learning moments talking to the players.
Yeah.
Um, on that, he mentions about CJ.
Yeah.
We talked to CJ when he came back about how difficult USL was.
Yeah.
And some of these other moves, like the Demos, like Henry Burnson, like JoJo Elliott, like Gavin Wetzel. Those are good moves to help their development as well. So
Yeah.
the one move he talks about, David Vasquez, San
Which the
Diego,
next day it came out the
it
news
came out
came out that he's
that he was
permanently. Yep.
officially permanent. And from the fan side, you sit there and you go, "Oh wow, you know how hard the union worked to get him,
Yeah.
to get his rights, to get him signed, to get this going." You saw the talent. Makes his first appearance this year with the first team in the US Open Cup
Yep.
as a left back, which I thought he did very well in.
Yep. And then he made his MLS debut at Columbus along with Sal.
Yeah, and I thought he again looked fine.
Yeah.
But again, where he played in the union system, he succeeded at. But you saw how he was playing during Leagues Cup for San Diego, and San Diego was getting a lot of out of him. He was playing much more natural feel where you saw him at the international level to a degree, I would feel.
Yeah, it was great to see him excel and you know, hey, we're hoping to get to the away trip San Diego, so who knows, maybe we could see him play, but you know, hoping for the
Maybe.
best for him. And you want the best for the player too. Obviously, you want the best for the club that you root for, or that you come, you want the best for whatever your team is, but at the same time, especially when you get to talk to these individuals and their stories and stuff, it's like, okay, you want to see the best for them though too,
I
you
think
know?
I think anybody,
Yeah.
and this is something I picked up when I went to college back in the early 2000s. Gosh, I'm dating myself. That's like almost 25 years ago.
You old.
Woo! Actually, it is 25 years ago.
You
Wow.
old.
Well, I am
For the
old.
record, I am several years younger than Kyle.
Yes, you are.
Yes.
One of the things we learned is it's always like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And there's a lot of ethical things just with, I remember being learned, but we always were taught like you want to seeing people succeed. While it's always if it bleeds, it leads. I get that. But to see success sometimes are the better stories,
Yeah.
are the more enjoyable stories to cover. Success is easier to talk about at times. And just I remember one professor saying, because he covered sports, I think for the Flyers. Anyway, worked for a paper, I forget which one. It's in Westchester. Anyway, long story short, he always said you want to see success because success is just better to cover,
Hmm.
both for you and for your writing. And I've always felt that. And even talking to one of my old soccer coaches who was an editor here in New York, one of it was a sports editor, he always shared some of the same visions and values as well. So I always think that, whatever side of the coin. And the thing that's impressed me the most with the union, I said this, I think it was Todd. In fact, it was Todd the other day we were talking about this, is the thing that impresses me most about this organization
Hmm.
is they want to do right by the player. If it
Yes.
doesn't work if it doesn't work in their vision, if you're listening right now, you might say, well, but how could this not work? I mean, this is Jakob Glesnes. Like, why is he leaving? Why are the unions selling him? Well, because maybe the union have other plans.
Yeah.
And right now, Jacob doesn't want to. Oh, I mean, and Jacob's not in his plans. Okay, so LA Galaxy needs a center back. I think Ishida left. I think he's not resigning. Okay, there's an opportunity with Ricky Puig to go back.
Hmm.
They're in the Concacaf tournament, Champions Cup. Here's an excellent opportunity for him.
Yeah.
And guess what? You get $1.1 million in game. Huh. That's a good business decision.
Yep.
Sure, you don't want to lose probably one of your best center backs of all time, but if there's an opportunity for you to get better in the long term, like Bradley says in the press release, a significant financial investment for the future for the club and an opportunity for him to compete instead. And that's really what makes, again, David Vasquez goes closer back to home, has an excellent opportunity with Mikey Veras at San Diego FC. Does it stink that he leaves? Yeah, I enjoyed
Yeah.
covering him. His story was awesome.
Yeah.
Jamir Johnson, it's possible he doesn't fit the system. Yeah, but maybe he does. But you're now giving him the opportunity to go to a team in LA that plays a little bit maybe more towards his strengths
Yeah.
and allows him to grow and develop. And that's what Ryan said. And that's whether it's right or wrong, that's what the union believe in. And I think that says something.
Yeah. And I think that it's important to look at these things with an open mind. So,
Exactly.
because let's remember how people are all up in arms about Jack McGlynn. And hey, Jack McGlynn's great. We love Jack McGlynn. Yeah, great kid. But did it work out, better in the long run? Daniel Gazdag, how'd that work out,
I mean, he started finding his
Yeah.
rhythm, but
I'm just saying, like,
now he needs to learn a new manager.
the union just kept honestly getting better. Yeah. I mean,
Jack Elliott.
Jack Elliott. So it's, I think when you put the emotions aside, because people get attached to players and, people have their feelings, and that's understandable, you know, but also you got to look at it from the different facets, honestly.
You do. And I think being, non-biased, looking at both ways, I think this is a great move for both sides. So you're happy to see that. But yeah, so that's kind of again, let us know your thoughts. For those of you following Union 2, what did you think about the interview with Ryan Richter? Also, just love to hear your guys' thoughts on some of these moves. Comment below, let us know your thoughts. Whether hey, you agree with what we're saying or not, that's fine. We'd love to hear from you.
Yep.
Um, let's finish on a positive note. A little fun here. You and I did this last year. Let's do it again this year. Let's name our three favorite and least favorite moments from the season. Doesn't have to be games or situations, could be events, all that stuff. Um, what were your favorite moments? Let's start off with our least favorite moments. That might be a little
Least favorite moments. Let's see. Losing in the playoffs.
okay.
Um, First team and second team.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That stunk. Um, and I mean, we count that as two, I guess. Um, but yeah, probably I don't know. There's uh Nashville, the home Nashville loss.
Hey, yeah.
Yeah, that one, because it was frustrating because there were some, I hate to just blame the refs, but that one was kind of proven to be kind of sus on the calls. But anyway,
I think for me, I'll start in no particular order. Um, we can say the um playoff loss, but I think for me, one of the most disappointing losses, and wasn't even a loss, it was just a stretch there, was the Vancouver and Nashville match, and I will say
Vancouver was,
they come off of that break, and I'll talk because against Cincinnati, and that's gonna be one of my top favorite moments of the season. But you go into Vancouver, and I remember saying, "Man, if they come away with a point, man, this is gonna be great. Ride the home stretch, right into US Open Cup semifinals." And it just wasn't meant to be. They laid an egg and got embarrassed,
yeah,
7-0. And you're like, oh no. Like, and I remember at the time tweeting out like, just at this point, you know, go get I forget what I said. Did I say like I said just go win the shield or something like
yeah,
or something like that. Like, don't even worry about anything else and just try to move on or at least go get a CONCACAF berth, and everybody's
yeah.
like, well, what are you talking about? CONCACAF berth. I'm like, go get something to play for next season, whether it be Shield,
Hmm.
who knows? But it just didn't look, it looked like they lost everything off of that. And I remember saying to somebody, how'd you go from that performance and then go looking like that. And then to bounce back, well, not bounce back, but to then go into Nashville and just again, maybe play a little better, but you just never really had it. And that was disappointing. And then eventually they kind of clawed their way back. But yeah, that was just a disappointing part of the season. I would say my next part was the two matches against um Columbus and against Inter Miami, where the Union had them both top playoff teams, which again, Union lost both of those matches against both those teams this year. Uh,
Well, they lost the away matches.
uh, I mean, I guess, right. Sorry.
At home, they had the
But
lead and they coughed it up, and they
yeah,
were
that's
both
what I mean.
ties. Yeah.
Now, they were disappointing, especially had Messi and them on the ropes to give up two late goals. Just things like that.
After you start out with that awesome goal by Quinn against Miami,
Yeah,
you get Frankie's Golazo against Columbus. You get some of those exciting moments, but then like, oh, it's a draw.
yeah. So it's those kind of disappointing things. Now,
Hmm.
to Union's credit this year, last year we talked about 27 drop points. I believe they only had like 8 drop points or something this year. It's very minute. And I
Hmm.
remember somewhere reading or somebody had quoted, and I went back and I think I looked at the thing that Todd and I were tracking this year. I don't think they ever lost a game in which they didn't score first. I don't know that for sure, but if they did, it was like one or two, which is really
Yeah.
impressive because there were games last year where they would score first and then, oh, there, yep, there's went the lead. Up there just went the game. So I say that I'll say that's probably my least two favorite at the moment. And then my least favorite of the season. Um, and this people are gonna be like, "What?" I'm gonna tell you this right now. My least favorite moment of the season was that weird. Oh, what match was it? Weird people are like, "What?" It. Which one was that one? I was just talking to somebody about today. Oh, shoot. Um, it was just the way the Union played. It was that New York City, not this one. It was the first one. That just clunker of a match in City Field where I
Oh,
just
yeah,
was like,
where Rick gave up that goal. It was just
yeah,
like
and it was right after
the whole game was kind of a clunker. It was just
it was just like
that weird
it
goal.
wasn't my top favorite moment, but it was one of them. I'm like, that's really bad. That was a really, really bad
It
game.
was a it was a bad ending to a day that had been really good, at least for us. Maybe not great for our friend Todd.
Oh, that
That's a
was
story. But
just a
my
weird.
niece was born like, and
Yeah,
we met her that day, which was great. Um,
but then, and I say that maybe this is then to have another clunker after you beat New York City to win the Shield, you then go follow the rubber match with another clunker.
that was just a disappointing way to and like to not even score.
Yeah, That was like that was like you ended your exit interview and you left a fart. And that's how
Wow.
and that's how people remember you by the person that farted on the way out the door.
What an analogy. Wow.
Well, but
Yeah.
it is kind of like, oh, and that's how it ended. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Well, anyway. So, well, let's talk about your favorite.
Yeah, and might I add, I did write a piece on our website. Go check it
Yeah.
out. It's where I talk about the stories of 2025 season and just a little bit more of a narrative. And it's not just recapping some of the highlights and lowlights, but it's looking at some of the stories in between, talking about some of our travels, some of
Yeah.
life that happened during it, some of the stories of, when just being at training or just some of the behind the scenes things, just talking about a few of those. So check it out. I had fun writing it and kind of remembering some of that stuff, but I think it should come as no surprise what my top moment really is
Right.
when they won the Shield, of course. And the fact that obviously that in itself was great, but I'm looking around and I'm seeing all the way the people are reacting to it
Mhm.
and just the joy. And I was watching it with my best friend and her daughter, who's my goddaughter. Like I got to
Mhm.
be there and watch that with them, and they got to share in that, which was pretty awesome. And me explaining to my goddaughter, who's 8, explaining, what this means,
Mhm.
So because she was really getting into it. That was her second game uh, seeing the Union this season. So that was easily my favorite one. Um, and I could say like some of those like shootout wins were pretty exciting. The one Indy 11 or
Mhm.
obviously the Chicago Fire playoff one, which I would say that's next one. Um, and honestly, like Union 2 as well. Just, I mean, there were a lot of great moments with Union 2. Um, but I would say for me, that win against Huntsville before they went on to the conference final, the semifinal against Huntsville. That one was really exciting because that was a hard fought match.
Yeah.
And so, you really saw them give it their all. And, you know, I appreciate that one as well. So, I mean, there were so many, top moments to choose from. Seeing some of these young guys make their debuts were pretty exciting. There were some top moments with some of the goals. Seeing McCanya have a game winner, seeing Marcus Anderson have a game winner, seeing Frankie have the golazo, seeing these guys make their mark, Eddie scoring and, the friendlies. But those were great moments too, for sure.
Yeah, I think probably one of my most favorite moments was that match against FC Cincinnati on the road. Um,
And they were
y-
playing down a man at the end too.
yes, Mikanya gets that silly double red, which would come, I still think comes back to play factor in Vancouver. Not saying that changed the scoreline because I don't think
Didn't
it did.
help.
Maybe not, but we don't know. But you have that. You go against a red hot team, which at the time the Union are kind of hanging on here and there, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be a big showdown. And I just remember watching the first half, like, this is a playoff match.
Hmm.
Okay. And Union are in a hostile crowd in TQL Stadium, and they play get a man down. I'm like, there's gonna be a goal. And I just remember sitting outside Cashman Field going to watch CJ Olney when he was on loan with Lexington and Corey Burke, all those guys. I'm just sitting there by myself in like this bench by one side of the stadium, just listening to this match and just watching, going, they pull this off. This is one of those where you're gonna say, okay, they got a legit shot now. And they did. And you walk out, I just remember calling people going, this is huge. Considering
Yeah,
how they played that game, what was all
that was
available.
incredible.
That always will stick out to me. That was an amazing match. And I was like, I believe one of the first times the Union have won both games against Cincinnati, especially since Pat Noonan's been there. So
Yeah.
that was great to see. My second favorite, obviously, was the Supporter Shield win.
Mhm.
Um, just to be able to cover that, those moments, um, seeing the excitement in the players, the journey, the belief of the organization, what it meant to this
Mhm.
organization and staff, and being able to cover that and write about it. For me personally, that was one of my favorite moments. And then to see our goddaughter, being able to celebrate this at her second game was all, and
Mhm.
your best friend and all the people outside just sitting there watching all those people celebrating with the trophy and the shield, with the trophy shield, was cool to see. And that was something really cool to cover. And then my final one was, I would say, our being able to talk to Jack McGlynn.
Yes. Oh,
Um,
that honestly,
and being
yes, that
able
was one of my
to
top
cover
two.
that beginning
Yeah.
and cover the beginning of the season where we wrote the article and talked about that and like, oh my gosh, Jack's gone. What does this mean? But it's a great move to then being able to go full circle and kind of close the chapter on that and be able to provide that because it was in the off season. No one knew what happened. It was like,
Yep.
all right, bye, Jack. Oh, he's gone. New Jack's no here. No one got to say anything. And just being able to say, hey, look, hey, Jack, let's talk a little bit about Philly and
Yeah.
just your final thoughts. And kind of like an extra interview.
Yeah, no, that was definitely my favorite away trip, and getting to talk to Jack was
And it was a
fantastic.
phenomenal article that we put out. And I would say honorable mention was seeing the growth of Frankie, Makanya, Eddie, all these guys, Marcus Anderson game winner.
Yeah.
Eddie and Marcus scoring against Atlas,
Yeah.
like just seeing those fun moments
Right.
where those players got those stories. And seeing David get those.
Yeah, it was.
Seeing CJ, okay. I take that. I'll ask second honest, honorable mention, and I'll let you finish your thought before we get out of here. Seeing the maturity of CJ Olney,
Yes.
the minute we were the last interview before he left,
Yep.
we were the first interview when he got back from
Yep.
Lexington. To see the maturity when he walked out that door to when he walked back in a changed person, I still believe that loan grew him up.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm slamming the table because
Yeah.
it was really, really cool to see. It was night and day. It was only a couple months,
Yeah.
and it just really changed him. And I remember Ryan saying that move, even though it didn't work out, it molded him into a better professional.
Yeah, and I think that CJ going getting experience, then coming back to Union too. I think that was huge. You saw a difference with the team, with all the changes Ryan mentioned, of course. CJ coming back into the fold was huge. He
Oh,
provided
for sure.
so much. I don't know if they go as far as they do or have all the success they had if they don't have CJ back. Who knows? But
Maybe not.
but it certainly helped.
It did. I will say it was like icing on the cake. Yeah, I'm using a lot of analogies in this episode. Anyway,
Yeah.
anything else?
No, I mean, I think that pretty much, yeah, so many great, memories, I think. And again, I go through a lot of these things in my articles, so go check it out. And oh, and one of my favorite interviews, and I had a lot, okay, but I still think back to, I really enjoyed talking to Andrew Rick at the beginning of the season.
That was great.
And yeah, and just like I talked to him the year before, of course, and you just see the growth. And then it's interesting looking back at that. That was before you knew how much time he was going to get with the first team too, and what an impact he was going to have. So, but that was one of my favorites too. And I have an article with that interview and everything. You can go check it out. But you
Yeah,
know, it was cool getting these stories.
it was, and that's why we love writing and covering this team the way we do.
Yeah.
It's for the stories.
Yeah. I think I realized, I was thinking this the other day, like, I think I pretty much, between us, I definitely talked to, I think, everyone in the Union 2 lineup at some point.
I think we.
Even the, even like Gio, even Oscar, like guys that speak Spanish, you know?
I
You know,
don't even know how many people talk to. They all blur together now.
no, I literally, I think talked to like everybody.
So anyway, wrapping up, just again, let us know your favorite, best or worst. It could be a moment in a game that was your favorite, or a moment with friends, or anything that was wrapped around you. Please share, email us, whatever. Love to hear from you about that. Hope you enjoyed today's episode. We will be back again this week with another episode at the time you're listening. This one's going to be kind of fun. Not going to spoil it, but we have talked about some of these topics in the past in certain seasons and potentially even certain players. So stay tuned for that. Um, Also, What If is going to be coming out here really soon, so be keeping your eye on social media for the link. We'll have a little Google sheet, or you can just comment, let us know what your what if is. We'll be doing that along with our pair prediction, and then more wrap ups, thoughts with guests. We got a couple other guests. We have I wouldn't say wait list. It's just we got to
We
figure
got
out.
we got some guests
Got
lined
some,
up, so
yeah, we have some guests that have told us they're going to come on, so we're just figuring out when and where we're going to get them.
yep.
But until next time, this has been an all new episode of the One Team We Agree On.
Yeah, make sure to like and subscribe and leave us comments because we love hearing from you. And yeah, let us know your thoughts because we've asked for them a whole bunch of times here. So let us know your thoughts.
Yeah. And thank you to like the 4 people that consistently comment. We love it.
Yeah, keep it coming. We
Yes, please
appreciate it.
keep it coming. All right. And until next time, I'm Kyle,
I'm Jillian.
and we'll see you at the game.